Morning, everyone. Paul Duncan here with GammaEdge. Today is Monday, and it's going to be an interesting week. So let's go ahead and get started. Please pause it here. Give us a good read. It's important to you. It's important to us. When you get done, go ahead and advance. Taking a look at the overall indices and the ETFs associated with the indices, no real surprise that we had an increase in the net negative gamma distribution for the SPX and a subsequent reduction in the positive net gamma, showing here on the right, compared to Thursday. So no question that we've had just more more puts being built in, and we're seeing that in the SPX and the SPY. Taking a look at the Qs, kind of a mixed picture. We had a reduction actually, and this could be due to monetization across the board. Fairly significant monetization on the put side. Same thing with IWM. We saw some monetization there also, and we'll get into that just in a little bit. For that reason, kind of a mixed picture here compared to what we had in the SPX. So just be aware that we may be at a transition point, and we'll want to watch that fairly closely. Taking a look at the 0 DTE for today, updated picture here that shows we are to the left of the predominant expiry for today. And when that occurs, one of our members likes to say, everybody's on the left side of the boat, and typically we need to rebalance the boat. So we'll just have to watch and see what happens today, but just know that we are severely imbalanced to the left here of this predominant negative GEX. And when that occurs, all of the puts that are above this are in the money. And although the SPX is cash settled, the SPY, the Qs, and the IWM are equity settled, and so there's more of a pressure for traders to take their profits, especially as we go into the end of the day and the deltas grow to a limit -1. They'll take their profits, and that could actually cause an upside reversal. So we'll want to watch for that today. Taking a look here at the history, I do want to point out for everyone that we did have the SPX close below POI. This is the put open interest. This is not a gamma construct. This is the strike within the SPX complex that has the most dominant put structure, and you can see that we're below that. We've run a series of tests here, back testing. We've presented those results elsewhere, and this doesn't occur very often. When it occurs, we typically last less than 5 days, and we're back above. So this could be an upside play. Taking a look here, we did see over on the Qs a drop in the minus gamma exposure, possibly owing to some monetization of the puts that were up here. Note the 0 increasing. When we see a 0 increase, it's because puts have been removed or calls have been added. We're not seeing a corresponding shift. So if they were added here at the 360 level and are masked. There are other tools we have to go look at that. And then finally over here at IWM, again, we see the 0 moving up. That usually portends to a positive outcome for the Qs and IWM, so we'll want to watch that. Taking a look at the flow summary, basically flat. I've got the notes here. Did do a video over the weekend. Would urge everyone to take a look at that if you get the opportunity. Fairly brutal day on Friday. Even the monetization that we saw in the puts, which is indicated by the downward trending here in the red, was not enough to overcome and help price out. So even though we did get a negative movement in the put side of the premiums, the overall balance of it was flat, and we're not really seeing any major shift in the monetization there. The Qs are a little different. We had a net positive outcome for the Qs in terms of premium flows. Taking a look here at what we're seeing coming down, you can see that puts were monetized, especially into the close, and calls were relatively flat. Same thing here over on IWM. Calls were relatively flat. We did see some monetization, but we saw some build of puts into the sell-off in the afternoon when we get that failure. in the last hour and a half or so, you can see that people were able to take advantage of the increase in puts. Net, we had a positive outcome for the IWM. Again, given what we see here and what we see here, we want to pay close attention to an upside move in both Qs and IWM. No real surprise here. Market model, cumulative tick using the ARCX, basically ending at the low of the day. This is all bearish. There's nothing here that suggests to go long. This is not a forward-looking tool. This is a, driving by the rearview mirror. We do need some form of a reversal here to get any sense of a bullish move. Until then, play the downside. Vol. What can I say? Basically, we're above the 2.3 standard deviation here in the VVIX. You can see we're above the 1 standard deviation here in the VIX. We're continuing to play up in this 29-30 area right now. When we have that type of expansion that quickly, you can see in the past we can tend to continue to walk up there. So we may collapse. It just depends on what happens. We may continue up. So be opportunistic there. Taking a look at the SPX structure, different levels indicated here. We've got the JPM end of month out here for April here at 42.70. Want to draw everyone's attention to that, and I did a video on that, why that delta could be part of the cause that we see here. But the different levels are indicated here. Just take a close look at them. When we take a look at the net gamma exposures here, we're way down here in the red. There's a transition zone up here. We've got some flip zeros sitting way up here, some short calls, etc. Going to be very, very interesting to see how this all plays out. I think we're down here until we're not, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get out of the red and get up into the transition area. Taking a look at the expiration, we've had a huge shift outward now into the May expiry. We're relatively weak leading up to that. The FOMC's in this zone. Not really seeing any development there. The April end of month you can see is growing, and today is a fairly significant expiry that could be that upside reversal that we were talking about. Taking a look at the 0DT here on the left and the combo, just a sea of red. So the key things here, net negative gamma, as everyone would expect, very strong level of gamma exposure right now. Also want to point out that already we're at 20% of the SPX, PM, and AM settled coming off at the monthly time frame. That's a fairly significant amount when you start adding all these numbers up between now and then. So we got a major shift pending out there. The different key levels, I just want to draw your attention down here to the 4,000 level, and then I've called out each of what I think are going to be some pretty dominant levels here. We are sitting up here at this 4270 level, and we've got some overhead to plow through before we can even think of going north. On the 0DTE, again, negative, fairly strong level, large move anticipated, open, high, low, close today. I want to draw your eye down here to circle 6. This is where we've got a lot of open interest sitting down here. Not that this is playing a key role in terms of gamma today. Delta levels are fairly benign, but you can see that as we go through time and as we start pushing down, we're going to get some growth down here. Fairly significant, and we want to pay close attention to what we have down here. Key levels up here, 4340 up here is the dominant expiry for today. We're sitting here again at that 4270 level. 4200 is the downside predominant level, and you saw that in the expiration, or excuse me, in the net gamma expiry that was right there. And then finally, what are we looking at overall here today? In terms of bullish potential, we think, first of all, the SPY's below put open interest, and again, that doesn't normally happen. So when it does, we want to pay attention to that because there is potential for upside movement on that. Everybody's on one side of the boat, as I said earlier, and so we want to watch that for some monetization. And then the VIX and the VVIX are above 1 standard deviation bands and holding. So, play that opportunistically, but if we get a collapse, that could be good for the bulls. the different plays. Watch for the SPY to cross and hold above the POI level. You'll have to check that. Watch for some flow monetization in the AI channel, and here are the commands that you would use for that. And we think this could play out over the next couple of days. On the bearish side of things, the cumulative tick is in a longer term downtrend. Also in a short term, and until we see a reversal there, everybody's pointing downward. We're seeing an extreme bearishness in the SPX complex. That'll attract more puts, and those puts will continue to add to downside. A delta flip around 4270 to the 4285 region. This is what I did my video this weekend on. I think we can play any downside off of that region. So give that a close look, and then key levels aside from the normal ones ending in 0.5, even though I've got a few in here, they're special. Go ahead and take a look at these. They line up with different things that I think we're seeing. Just note there is a fairly significant range gap between 4,300 and 4,400. So until we start seeing some levels fill in there, it's going to be really hard unless we get an explosive move up. Which is always possible, of course, but we would have to clear that 4285, 4282, and 4270 range that I've been talking about. If we can get back into the other, on the other side of the delta flip, we could potentially see a push upward, but I'm not optimistic for that in the short term. So that's it for today. If you liked what you've seen, please join us at GammaEdge.us. That'll take you to a sign-up page to get you into the Discord, 14-day free trial. All the tools are turned on. Great group of traders, all experience levels, all ages. So I would urge everyone to come kick the tires. Follow us on Twitter at GammaEdges with an S, and then on YouTube. Just note the C in the middle here, but youtube.com. Put the C there and then GammaEdge, and I'll take you right to our page. If you like today's content, please push that like button and subscribe, and we'll notify you the next time we post something. So thanks, everyone. Make it a good day. Make it a great week, and we'll see you in the Discord.